In this section, we're going to go over dividing polynomials, okay? We're going to do that in two different ways. One way is using long division, and then a second way is using synthetic division, okay? And this video is going to focus primarily on long division. There will be a second video on long division, and then there will be some videos on synthetic division, okay? First, some terminology. The dividend is the expression here that's being divided. So my dividend here is x squared plus 3x minus 6, okay? The divisor is what that dividend is being divided by. In this case, the dividend is being divided by x plus 1. Okay? The quotient is going to be the full factor here that we get when we divide. In this case, that's x plus 2. And this problem has a remainder. The remainder is just going to be this negative 8 here over the divisor of x plus 1 again. Okay, so let's go over the warm-up problems here, just to get you back into the hang of doing long division, just with numerical values here. We'll get into the algebraic values in just a second. But we want to divide 755 by 5, okay? I'm doing that with long division. I need to check with the divisor here, 5, and see how many times does it go into 7. And we know it goes into 7 one full time, okay? So how the algorithm goes, we're going to multiply 1 times 5, okay? We want to subtract that value. All right, so now I've got 7 minus 5, which is 2. I'm going to bring down the 5, okay? So I've got a 25 there. Now, how many times does 5 go into 25? Well, we know that's 5 full times, okay? Multiply 5 times 5, I get 25. Subtract that value, well, that gives me 0. Okay, so I've got a 5 there. How many times does 5 go into 5? 1 full time. And I should get a numerator of 0 there. So 755 divided by 5 is 151 with no remainder. Okay. Now, let's divide 8,023 by 12. Okay, so 12 doesn't go into 8. 12 goes into 86 times, so 6 times 12 is 72. Subtract those, I get 8, bring down the 2, okay? 12 goes into 82, well that's 6 full times with some left over, so that's gonna be a 10 there, okay? Bring down the 3. How often does 12 go into 103? Well, that's gonna be 8 times, okay? 8 times 12 we know to be 96. And that gives me a remainder of 7. So the answer is 668 with a remainder of 7. Okay? You can follow the same process when you divide polynomials, all right? So notice one thing we're going to have. The degree in the numerator is going to have to be larger than the degree of the denominator. And that's the case in both of these problems. Now I'm going to start with B here because it's a little bit easier. And then we'll move over to A next, okay? So when we divide polynomials, we want to look at the first term of the binomial outside here. So we want to know how many times does x go into x squared, okay? Well, x times x is x squared. I want to keep these lined up. So since this is x to the first degree, I'm going to put my x up there, okay? Now I'm going to multiply x times x plus 3. Well, x times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. Okay, just like before, I want to subtract that. So x squared minus x squared, well, that's gone. 4x minus 3x is 1x, and we want to bring down the plus 3. Okay. How often does x go into x? Well, that's 1 time. We want to line up the constants here. Notice the constants are lined up. Now let's multiply 1 times x plus 3. That gives me x plus 3. I want to subtract just like before, and I get a remainder of 0, okay? So the quotient here, when I divide x squared plus 4x plus 3 by x plus 3, is going to be x plus 1 with no remainder, okay? Now let's look back at A. It's a little bit more complicated. We want to divide x. How many times does x go into 6x squared? Well, that's going to be 6x. Again, I want to line these up, okay? Now we want to multiply 6x times x minus 4. Well, that's going to be 6x squared minus 24x. Okay. I want to subtract those just like we did before. So 6x squared minus 6x squared, those cancel out. and I've got negative 26x minus a negative 24x, which gives me negative 2x. Bring down the plus 12, okay, and we go through it again. How many times does x go into this negative 2x? Well, that's going to be negative 2 times. Now we want to multiply negative 2 times x, and negative 2 times negative 4, okay? So now then, I want to subtract, and I'm going to have a remainder this time. Again, negative 2x minus negative 2x, those cancel out. 12 minus 8 is 4, so that's going to be my remainder. So my quotient is 6x minus 2 with a remainder of positive 4. So we want to write it like this. 6x minus 2 plus 4 over the divisor, x minus 4. So that's my answer for problem A. The final two examples here, we've got part C, x squared plus 3x minus 6 over x plus 1, okay? We want to divide. X squared by x is positive 1x, okay? We want to multiply that out. That gives me x squared plus 1x. Okay, I want to subtract that. Okay, the x squares cancel. 3x minus 1x is 2x. Bring down the negative 6, okay? 2x divided by x is positive 2. 2 times x is 2x plus 2. Subtract that. The x's cancel out. Negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8. And that's going to be my remainder. Okay? So my answer is x plus 2 minus 8 over the divisor. Okay? And the last one here, we've got x cubed minus 8 divided by x minus 2. Okay? So when we're filling in that numerator here, that dividend here, we've got a couple of exponents missing. We go right from a third degree expression here to the constant. So we've got to account for x squared and x to the first as placeholders. Okay. Anytime you're missing an exponent as you go from the degree of the polynomial down to the constant, you've got to put a placeholder in. Okay. X cubed divided by x is going to be x squared. Multiply that out, I get x cubed minus 2x squared. I want to subtract. The x cubes cancel. 0x squared minus a negative 2x squared is positive 2x squared. Okay. Divide 2x squared by x, you get 2x. Okay. Multiply that out, we get, bring down the 0x there. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x. Okay. I want to subtract those. The x squares cancel out. 0x minus a negative 4x, well, that's a positive 4x. Bring down the negative 8. Okay. 4x divided by x is positive 4. Multiply that out, I get 4x minus 8. And when I subtract that, I get a remainder of 0. Okay. So my answer here is going to be x squared plus 2x plus 4. Now, hopefully you recognize this was a difference of cubes, and this would have been the binomial factor had we factored that difference of cubes. So hopefully you recognize that first, but if not, you can use long division to find the second factor. So that's long division, guys.